Excuse me. What's good, everyone? Jeremy Majors here with with Majors Academy Dog Training out of Green Bay, Wisconsin, and we're live on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. We are live to answer any and all dog behavior questions you may have for the next hour. Excuse me, got something in my throat. Uh, yeah, we're here. Uh, Anybody who keeps up with the dog training world, it's been a rough week. I should say, among dog trainers, as far as online bashing goes. But other than that, things are great in these neck of the woods. What's up, Fuzzy Sprinkles? So yeah, it's been good. It's been great. Had some good training this week. Trained a Saint Bernard that was human aggressive and dog aggressive, so that was cool. Trained a little Shepherd mix. I guess it was a Shepherd mix, but that dog was very dog aggressive, dog reactive. Just doing my private lesson thing for the month of August, and then for September we'll get our board and trains again going. So if you see a lack of posting, I'm gonna try and see if I can hook up with somebody in Florida. Going to Destin, Florida, starting on Tuesday, and I always like going places and trying to see if I can train some dogs or just meet up with some local trainers, man, and learn. Everywhere I've been, I've gotten the opportunity to do this because of online, social media stuff. So I went to Oregon probably a year ago and met up with some clients. Just had some. Uh, I had a private session with today with my 14 male Corso. How'd it go? What'd you think? What'd you do? Tell me about it. But yeah, I had some private lessons in Oregon, and then I went to San Diego and had a couple of seminars in uh, in San Diego. So that was cool. Met up with some local trainers. That was badass. So anybody who's watching, if you're in Destin, Florida, or around Florida, Destin, uh, and you want to hook up, let's hook up. Sudbury, Sudbury, what? Um, yeah, that'd be great. That'd be cool. Okay, let's get started. Why don't we? All right. Amy says, "What's the best way to deal with whining? Not bathroom or food begging related, just persistent whining, usually with pacing. Tell a dog to go do something. Working on some aggression when passing other dominant dogs. I got you. How'd it go? What'd you do? What, if you don't mind telling me? Need to work on better healing. Yeah. Let me answer this question from Amy, and then I'm gonna get back to you guys. Okay. So Amy says, just persistent whining, usually with pacing. Um, no matter why it's happening, I can't really tell you why it's happening, but I can tell you how to improve it. I was gonna say that word fix. I don't like that word, but you improve it by giving the dog something that the dog has to do, like no, no, you know, no way out, but to give the dog something to do that will occupy its mind other than what's making it whine and pace. Okay, and what I would recommend is putting a leash on the dog. You gotta get the dog to become calm when it starts to get into that mindset. And the leash will usually do it because the leash will limit its options on where to go and where to pace. So it can't really go into that obsessive like behavior. Speaking of obsessive behavior, any and all. Hey, Rachel, long time no see. What's going on? Um, Speaking of obsessive behavior, any behavior that is seems to be obsessive with your dog or out of control should be stopped, or you should have the ability to get the dog to snap out of it. No light chasing, no shadow chasing, no laser chasing. Never do that. No tail lick, chasing. No paw chewing. No excessive licking. Any behavior that your dog, uh, any behavior that your dog obsesses over should again be intervened. Okay. All right. Okay, Fuzzy Sprinkles, what's up? I have a question. The last few times I travel, I realize Dex does not travel well anymore. I'm not sure what happened. I have some ideas, but he just ends up getting sick. Hmm. Do you think it's best to retire him from road tripping? Absolutely not. He's not that old. I think he's got a little bit of gray, but I don't think he's that old. Um, hmm. That's interesting. I think I'm gonna have to think about that for a second. Let me think about it, and I'll get back to you. Okay. Let's see what else we got. All right. Going to try slip lead or smaller prong. Working on some aggression. Do you have a question? I mean, I would certainly answer your a question if you have one. Ashley. Okay. Next question. Next question comes from Lacey. Should you allow your child that's been bitten by the family dog to pet/touch uh, that dog while supervised or allowed to hold the leash while on walks, etc.? Confused as to what we should and should not do with our daughter and Banjo. Okay. Well, it's going to be a little bit of a lengthy answer. Hold on. Let me just pull up my live here. Okay. Okay. Um, so what you want to do with your dog that has bitten your child is you got to let that dog know what the hell's going on. You got to let that dog know. You got to humble that dog. You know, that dog has has to learn one thing. This is what this dog should learn. I don't care about sit, down, stay, come. This is what the dog should learn. Don't bite my children. Do not bite the children. That's what the dog should learn. And you will never get there unless you give that dog something that's worth rethinking those evil thoughts. So give your dog a consequence that gives your dog other options to explore. Because right now, that dog seems to deal with what he doesn't want by biting, and the proper consequence will get the dog to explore other options, like walk away if you get uncomfortable. So, bottom line, dog has got to know that it's not right. All right. Thanks for your question. You guys can ask more than one question as well. Feel free to ask as many questions as you like. Okay, Kathy says, I had an incident Saturday where my dog bit someone in the face, made one mark on them, but it totally took me by surprise. He never shows aggression. There was a number of people at my house at the time, and he seemed out of sorts. He was laying on my feet, and when he stood up, he seemed fine. They went to kiss him on the snout, which is not out of the ordinary, and he bit her. I'm beside myself. I'm kenneled him immediately and yelled at him. Did I do this right? Well, I can't tell you if you did it right. It depends on if he does it again. If he doesn't do it again, then you did it right. I'll tell you what I would do. I would uh, let the dog sleep in the kennel for the next 2 weeks. I wouldn't pet the dog for the next 2 weeks. Oh my. Mhm. Don't want to do that, do you? Yeah, that's tough. It's a tough one. But that dog, if you say it's unusual for that dog to do that, now here's what we have to be honest with ourselves with, because it may be true or not. You may be right. But is that dog, was it unusual for that dog? Maybe it was unusual for the dog to bite. But how much of what that dog does is up to the dog? Meaning, how much of a, you know, for lack of a better term, how much of a brat is that dog allowed to be? Because brats seem to make seem to be free to make a bunch of bad choices. Don't they? We all know that. Brats do what they want. Brats are unpredictable. Yeah, people say dogs are unpredictable. Yeah, that's because it's brat. Um, okay, not saying that this is the case with you, not necessarily. But again, if your dog can be free to be unpredictable, if your dog can get away with everything else. Does your dog bark when it wants, out of control? Does your dog jump on people, out of control? Those are some things that you want to consider. How much of their behavior do they just get to dictate? Do they get petted whenever they want? Are they on the bed? Are they on the couch? Those are the things you want to consider eliminating too, to not see the aggression. So um, just keep those things in mind. But again, listen, guys, if your dog messes up and bites someone or bites you, that dog should not be on the couch the next day or the next day or the next day or the day after or the day after. The dog has got to see that you can be a parent too, not just a friend. The dog has got to feel that parent for a while. You're going to do this because it's good for you in the long run. That sort of thinking, not dog right now saying, "Oh, but I'll go ahead and bite her. No problem. Be on the couch tomorrow. Oh, she'll be mad at me tonight, but I'm gonna get my treats tomorrow. I'm gonna go ahead and do this." That's a dangerous mindset. So, feel free to give me more detail or whatever that may be. But normally, in my experience, dogs think they can if they have that assuming mindset. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. There's nothing for me to. There's nothing going to stop me. I don't even have to think twice about it. Then they go ahead and make bad choices. All right. So evaluate certain the dynamics of your relationship with your dog, and hold that dog accountable for its behavior. You know it can act well, and you know it can listen well. So make it listen well, and make it act well from your consistent ability to be firm when necessary. All right. Thanks for your question, and feel free to ask another. I like beer. All right. Next question from Nicole. Our foster was previously a stray. She's been shy of people. We don't have guest approach or first interaction. Anything specific you would recommend for helping a dog become more comfortable with unknown people? Yeah, so here's the key when it comes to getting a dog to be vulnerable, getting a dog to open up. The dog can't have a way out. Some dogs can use their fear as a manipulative tool to get what they want. So sometimes it's not all fear. Sometimes it's a little bit of fearful, and the dog being smart enough to say, when I act like this, I don't have to become uncomfortable. But it's when you help your dog through those uncomfortable situations, like new people coming into place, that helps them grow. Okay, so it's really, it really is all about sort of not, or making the dog an afterthought. The dog should be an afterthought, which means your priority is to have a good time with your people that come over. The dog is again a supplement or a complement to you, not the focus. When we make the dogs the focus um, of our attention, and the guests have to also accommodate to your dog and your training, that can feed into the dog's fear, the dog's reactivity, the dog's aggression. So we have to, although we want to say all this about, oh, he's a member of our family, oh, he's our daughter, or she's our daughter, and he's our son. Um, okay, but if you have a dog that's reactive or fearful in any way, the dog should not be considered in situations where you want to enjoy your time with your people. If the dog acts really good, then the dog can maybe come out. But I'd put my dog away. It wouldn't even be a situation where, because you can, that's a way of improving that situation. You know, put your dog in a kennel and make sure the dog stays quiet in the kennel. And then once it's quiet, after 10 or 15 minutes, then the dog can come out, depending on how fearful or whatever. Um, you may or may not have to use the leash, but if you want to use the leash, that's fine too. And then the dog will start to say, it's pretty cool. Let me go interact with these people. So taking things slow, but also on one hand, being indifferent to the dog, not saying, oh, the dog feels this way, let's do this. The dog looks this way, let's do this. The dog, see, so you're just giving in to the dog's, you know, and really holding the dog back from growing, in my opinion. So, yeah, control for the first 10 or 15 minutes, whether that be on a leash or in the crate, is going to be your best bet. All right. Thanks for your question. Feel free to ask another. Sorry, I don't really look at the camera when I'm speaking because I really try and focus on the question. So I'm reading the question from my laptop, and sometimes I have to reread it while I'm answering the question just so I can give a really good answer. Okay, next question. What am I sipping? That's not a dog behavior question, Rachel. Revolution Brewing Sun Cruiser Hoppy Wheat Ale. and it is delicious. All right. On a dominant, powerful dog, what's your favorite collar? Slip lead, prong, martingale. I don't use anything but the prong collar. I only use the slip lead for small dogs. Um, I only use the prong collar. That's it. And people may say, "Oh gosh, he just uses the prong collar. Oh, he sucks." Oh well, prong collar works. That's it. Yes, he will do it. Yes, he will do what? I have two dogs. This question is for Deb. I have two dogs who will get along fine in the house. However, when outside, the shepherd likes to attack and bite the other dog for no reason. In fact, he gets very excited, runs up to me like he wants to bite me, but stops when I yell at him. Should I keep a shock collar on him whenever he's outside until he stops doing this? Yes. uh, I have, that is the shortest answer ever in Majors Academy Dog Behavior Q&A history, but I'll leave it at that. If you want to ask another question, feel free to ask, but sounds like you know what you're doing. You just got to do it. All right, we let our dog on the couch to get away from the toddler and the baby. Okay, we don't have another place for the dog to get away from the kids. Put the dogs in another room. They don't have to be included in every moment. Give the kids a break from the dogs and give the dogs a break from the kids. That'd be good. Okay, Melissa says my dog has started peeing at the front door while my son clips leash on him to take him out. It started a few weeks ago, and now it's every time he takes him. He has done it maybe once or twice, but to me, but basically not at all compared to my son every time. You put the leash on and get the um, let your son just take the leash and go for now, or let the dog drag a leash, and then the dog is just kind of scared about that whole leashing thing for now, and so maybe to help improve that, you leash the dog or keep a leash on the dog so the dog doesn't have to deal with that for a while. Because either you deal with him peeing until the dog stops or gets over it, or you can stop the peeing right away by adding that leash. Okay? We do not let him on the couch on the bed. Anyway, he has his own bed. That's good. Good, good, good. What about Huskies? Jacqueline says, what about Huskies? Mine is barking crazy. I take him out, walk him, but just barks. Does he bark on the walks or does he bark in the house? I'll give you more of a specific answer if you tell me where he's barking a lot. Huskies are very vocal, you know? We are always on the prong, but tried the slip today was pretty good. I was surprised. Well, you know what? Here's the deal. Some dogs are sort of cold, or not cold, or they're just not respond responsive to the prong collar. Um, they're not really responsive to the prong collar, and so People try the slip lead, but I would try the prong collar and then try the e-collar on top of that. The e-collar for dogs who are non-responsive to the prong collar works very well. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I had a dog this week that was couldn't care less about the prong collar corrections at all. Then we tried the e-collar and we got a humble dog. We got a good mindset from the dog, which was awesome. So, what's up, Justin? How are you, buddy? I'm sure you have at least gotten wind of all the drama. I'm not on Facebook much anymore. Not like I used to. But man, I got on and that's all I saw. And I couldn't help but to respond a little bit on Sean's behalf. So, if those of you who don't know Sean O'Shea, he's a good trainer, great trainer out of Hollywood, North Hollywood, something like that, California. And, you know, all right, I'll answer a question before I get into that, but I think he made some good points and I want to talk about it. Okay. Let's see. Here we go. Can you talk about slow intros to both kids and other dogs? Yeah. Slow means at the dog that you're working with at their pace. Too often we move slow. Here's what has to happen when it comes to intros to kids and dogs. Number one, the dog has to be very responsive to you and your leadership. When you say hey or no or his name or her name, the dog should you should get a dog that reacts or responds. If you don't have that, then you should not introduce your dog to kids or other dogs unless you want to potentially break up a fight. So that's the first thing. Control, good control over the dog. And then the second thing is good control over the other dogs or kids. If you have those two things, your dog will get along with any kid or any dog. That's it. Obviously, however you can get control, do so. Whether that mean on leash, whether that mean with along with training tools, the dog has to be responsive to you. If you don't have that, if your dog ignores you, don't do it. Get control first. All right. Thank you for your question. Um, Same here. I'm never on Facebook. I go for my business and that's it. Yeah, me too. Yep. All right. Justin says, "Oh geez, I did. Where's the decency in people? So many people got super offended." And that was the biggest kind of shocker to me is like, it brought out how many actual trolls there were. I mean, it was really nasty. I don't think people got the point of the post. He was not attacking any trainer. He was simply making a distinction that some sport trainers don't want to admit, but I really think that that's a good point. So that was my main point. My main point is this: I didn't bring this up because I do not want to go back and forth with no trainer. I don't online. It's stupid. It's it's exhausting. I don't know, fighting online is really dumb. Like dumb. I mean, it's just really dumb. Um, but when it comes to sport dog trainers and regular dog trainers, they think sport dog trainers, first of all, think that they are the upper echelon of all training. And they're, they're not. They ain't. Sorry, they're not. Um, um, you can't really train a dog to be just a pet dog with a sport, looking through a sport lens. And those trainers, um, you know, are caught up in that sport lens, in my opinion. Again, this is just my opinion, but I've trained with a lot of sport dog trainers. I have, and actually, sport dog trainers around this area, my area, refer dogs to me. Because dog, once sort of you get like used to training a dog a certain way, um, and if it's a different avenue or a different lane, then it's hard to veer from that lane. You know what I mean? So anyway, I won't talk too much about it because I know the majority of the people watching don't really care about that. But it's a big difference between people who do sport dog training and pet dog training. And I think the trainers that do pet dog training need to be respected as much as the sport dog training. The sport dog training can be flashy. See, that's what gets attention. You see what I'm saying? Sport dog trainers can get attention easy because they do that flashy trick stuff. Okay, that's good, but that has nothing to do with crate aggression. That has nothing to do with dog reactivity. So, uh, I, am not the type of um, person. Once again, because of my experience, I'm not the type of person that cares about what other trainers think about me. So I'm not afraid to speak up to anybody. I don't care. Um, I'm not I'm not trying to get be liked is what I'm trying to say. All I care about is my clients. That's it. It does look cool, but what about the other 23 hours in a day? Exactly. We'll leave it at that, bud. We'll leave it at that. If you want to, if you want to chat, some other time, or maybe I can make up, some sort of broadcast about this, we can do that. That certainly would be something I want to elaborate about. You know what I mean? So we'll end it there, though. I got some questions I need to ask. Okay. All right. Kimberly says, my two dogs do great with basic commands when solo. When together, they get so hyped up they don't listen. Tips to get them to respond to commands when they're together. Um, then I would get more control with them solo. Um, I would question how great they listen when they are solo because that is the thing that you can build off of. All right. Because if they listen really well solo, they'll listen good when they are together. And so make sure that when you say the word down, that they go down. Or make sure that when you say sit or come or quiet or go lay down, that they do so. Um, it depends also what kind of training tools you're using to get those. Are you using treats? Are you using a leash? Are you using an e-collar, a prong collar? What are you using to help get that high level of obedience? Feel free to let me know and I can guide you a little bit more. All right. Thanks for your question. Feel free to ask another. Okay. Let's see what else we got. Okay, this question comes from my aunt. She watching? Kathy. Hi, how are you? Okay, Kathy says, Jeremy, how do you stop Sydney from barking in the house for no reason? He just randomly decides to bark for 10 minutes or so, and then he runs away when I try and talk to him or pet him, thinking I could walk him into stopping or talk him into stopping. What's the best approach to stopping this behavior? Otherwise, he's doing extremely well. Um, you're going to have to tell him to do something that he needs to do. So, pretty simple, tell the dog to go lay down when he starts to do that. And if he doesn't listen to you, then you have to um, leave a leash on the dog just to kind of drag around the house. And it may be a little bit of inconvenient, but you can easily then do what? Grab the dog when you need to grab the dog and put the dog where you want the dog to stay. All right. So, main key is to when he starts to bark, because barking means something. It either means go away or I hear something, or it means both. I hear something, go away, you know? Um, and something may be spooking him, who knows? But um, either way, if there is in fact nothing to be spooked of or afraid of, then you just got to show him that by grabbing the leash and putting him in a spot where he has to stay. Okay, because this is going to occupy. The reason why we do this is because it really gives the dog something to think about other than what's causing the insecurity. You know what I'm saying? So bottom line, don't let the dog just do what it wants. Give the dog something that has to do, no questions asked, and the dog will then start to learn how to deal with whatever's spooking him. Alrighty, don't make me come down there. I'll come down there. Okay, next question. Okay, next question is for Jennifer. Our German Shepherd Jake has been doing great since the day you did the training with him. The collar is working well also. My question is, how do we teach him that jumping on the door or window when we're not home is not okay? He never does it when we're home. We kennel him most of the time, but if we're just running somewhere quick, we leave him out. Okay, this is what I want you to answer. How is his behavior when you are home? He may not be jumping, and he may not be uh, jumping at the door or window when you're not home. I mean, when you're home. But is he doing what you want him to do, or is he doing what he wants to do? That's what you have to figure out. And if he's doing what he wants to do, again, it may not it may not be jumping or whatever, but if he's barking or if he's allowed to do what he wants, that's what you have to eliminate. We have to get the dog to show to be comfortable inside your home. And it starts with you being home. And he may be comfortable, but giving him a comfortable spot to go to when he's uncomfortable is very much so important as well. So that's why that on your bed command is also very crucial. It works well for dogs who are reactive to fireworks or anything for that matter. It becomes a safe space for them, but it only becomes that way through your leadership. Um, so I really ask for very much so good control inside the house when it's just you guys, and that's going to be your best bet on getting the dog to really realize um, that it doesn't have to do that. It actually then learns maybe how to control its impulsive behavior because it's all super impulsive behavior. But here's the other thing: you can leave a camera in the house. You can go out, and that your e-collar has a half-mile range on it, so you can go maybe down the block. You can see the dog do that misbehavior, that behavior, and then you can correct the dog with the e-collar when you're not home and you're just looking through a camera. And I guarantee the dog will go lay down. Try that. and let me know how it goes. Okay, Laura says having a hard time with people coming to the door, barking and persistent on checking them out, being up close and personal. Want to work on place command. Best way to do so without a shot collar. Best way to do so without a shot collar is a leash and a prong collar. I have a video on YouTube, um, and it's how to place, um, and it will get your dog started. The dog has to have a leash on. Has to. If you don't want to go the e-collar route, you have to have a leash on. And let me just educate, because this is going to be pretty good for people to hear as well, about the shock collar. The shock collar is not a punishment tool. The shock collar should just be a tool that proves what the dog already knows. The shock collar is so used the wrong way so many times. Oh, he's digging. Shock collar. Oh, he won't stop barking. Shock collar. Oh, he won't stop jumping. Shock collar. Um, Although the shock collar is good for those reasons, it should also be used for sit, down, stay, and come. And I mean at a very high level, though. Not do it for a treat. Oh, my dog already knows how to do those things. That does it? No, it doesn't. Because if your dog knew how to do that, why don't you do it when guests come over? Why don't you do it when that door opens? Because it can't do it. But the shock collar can give you that sort of result, um, when you ask for it. We tried shock collar. She became really depressed and not herself. I couldn't continue. The trainer we used said you cannot overuse a shock collar. And at that point, I was done. Yeah, because they don't know how to use it. Shock collar should not change their demeanor. The shock collar should be the same tool as a leash, a regular collar, a prong collar, your voice, the shock collar. Shock collar, your voice, the leash, prong collar, regular collar, all use the same. Yeah, sit means sit. Um, anyway, your voice should be used the same way as a shock collar should be used. That's it. Same principle. My mentor, when he was beginning his training journey, called up this German guy who is a really good trainer, and he says, "Hey, how do we use the shock collar?" And the German guy says, "Just like the prong collar," and hangs up. But it's true. Same philosophy. It's just a different way to get a result that you want to help learning. That's the difference. All right. I'm a big advocate for back ties with place command when there is no collar. It's a really good idea. That's a really good idea, Laura. Maybe you should back tie the dog, which just means tie the dog up to something that won't move and allow people to come in and out. Many trainers are advocates of that, and it's a good option. hmm But the shock collar should be used as a tool to prove what the dog knows. Because if the dog listens to your obedience command, right? If the dog can go lay down and stay there, then you can open that door all you want. You can have whoever you want come over. Wouldn't that be nice? And then guess what the dog does? The dog learns that it's not okay to to do those things, and it's not necessary to do those things. It's a win-win. The e-collar is a very unique tool because it just allows the dog a little bit more freedom. The leash is, you know, the leash can have tension real quick, right? The leash can be tense. It can be a little personal because you're right there with the dog. Sometimes that amps up dogs. But for the most part, the e-collar gives you another way to reach your dog. That is the point. The point of all these tools is to, when you say something, your dog actually listen to you. Okay? Because when that happens, those tools go away. So if your dog listened to you in the first place, there'd be no need for any tools. The tools are just there to help for that reason. All right. Thanks for your question. Feel free to ask another. Okay, we're getting through a lot of questions today. Let me make sure I get. Okay, I got one. Ready? Our pit mix is such a great dog that loves everyone. The trouble he has is backing off when energies get too high. What's the best way to train our pit to back off when things get towards the tipping point? Um, using something that will break that focus and get the dogs to focus somewhere else or something else. The best thing would be you to focus on you, but the dog has to have something that will sort of intervene or um, break through. And there's many ways to get that, um, but there is going to be a need of some sort of adversive consequence from you. A prong collar correction would work. E-collar correction would work. Doggy don't would work. Pet convincer would work. Um, some sort of something to get the dog to listen to you. But listen, guys, you can help your dog out, um, very much so. Make it easier on them if you're sort of being a little bit more their parent when it's just you and him. You know what I mean? When it's just you and your dog at home, and it's convenient not to get the dog to listen, that's when things can become out of control. If the dog 90% of the time is just you and the dog, and or you and your family with the dog, and the dog gets to do what it wants, then when you take the dog outside, what you think it's going to do? You don't know what a doggy don't is, Justin? That's crazy. It's an awesome tool, man. Uh, I use it primarily for getting loose dogs away from the dogs that I'm walking, but it's a doggy don't. It sounds like a taser, and it's just a sound device. That's crazy, man. Yeah, check it out. I like it better than the pet convincer 100%. But number one thing I use it for is to get dogs away from me when I'm walking dogs. You know what I mean? It works really well, except on Vizsla puppies. Um, but yeah, yeah, definitely check it out, man. It's good for jumping, good for barking, good for it can even break up fights too. I mean, it's I send it home with every single client, whether they use it or not. That's fine. Um, but I do send it home with every single client, and because leash reactivity, man, you got to protect those dogs on leash. All right, I think I got them all. Let me make sure. Any more questions on Instagram? Looks like we're good to go. All right, guys. Well, I think we made it to the end. Please give me a like, thumbs up, heart, whatever the heck, whatever, wherever you're watching. I appreciate you guys watching. Um, and thank you for your questions. These questions help a lot of people. So give me a like, a thumbs up, or whatever you want to do. We'll be here next week. And again, thank you guys for watching. We will, uh, we might have a pack walk this Saturday. Just stay tuned. I'm still trying to figure it out because we can't have one the following weekend. But I do want to have the pack walk because we got some new people that want to come. So keep up with us. Keep up with our Facebook page to see if we're going to have one. All right. All right. See you guys next time. YouTube, what's happening? Peace.